So Rabbi Shalom Ber Eichon, Olav Shalom, he is the Yosel Marozov, the Sheikhet, his
Cyril's
father-in-law.
father.
It's Yosel, they don't know Cyril, they know Yosel is his father-in-law. So he, as a bocher, could be for the Rebbe also, but certainly as a bocher, he was a Meshamash Bakodesh who walked in the house of the Frierdiker Rebbe. So he relates as follows: all the years that I served there, I don't recall once that the Rebbe should say anything, open his mouth, say anything during the sudas, the meals, sitting at the table of the Frierdiker Rebbe. I'm quoting Rabbi Shalom Ber Eichon here. He says he sat before the Rebbe, meaning the Frierdiker Rebbe, with absolute bittul, ka'avda kamemora, like a servant before his master. And this hiskashrus and bittul of the Rebbe was also could be seen. It was very obvious when we would see him go into the Frierdiker Rebbe's room, that even though he went in every day, and probably more than once a day, he says, I was always astounded, says Shalom Ber Eichon, every day to see how he would go prepare himself and go in, waiting in the corridor and preparing to enter every day with not only that it was as a new thing, but with the Tachlis Abitl. So he adds by Eichon, Shalom Ber as we call him, it says like this: I remember once something that expressed the expression of this bittul. It was a strange thing. He says, in general, when the Frierdiker Rebbe would end the Farbrengen took place at his table upstairs. That's what the Farbrengens were. So the Rebbe, our Rebbe, would be the first to stand and accompany him as he left the room to go to his office. Leave the dining room. So once I saw that the Frierdiker Rebbe ended the Farbrengen, everybody gets up except the Rebbe. Our Rebbe is sitting and remained and didn't move from his place. Couldn't understand what happened. And then only later I realized that one of the legs of the table had slipped, being dislodged because of the pressure. The Farbrengen took place there in the room. Bachrim generally weren't allowed in, but there was still, like, how many people could fit. The Rebbe used to let in Bachrim and the Rebbetzin. But the bottom line is it was tremendous pressure. And this happened in the middle of the Farbrengen. And the Rebbe, not wanting to disturb the Farbrengen, simply on his leg supported the table and the pressure, everybody leaning on each other and on the table throughout the entire Farbrengen. And he says that was tremendous physical strength. He says, Al TV, this, to be able to hold that up. And obviously nothing was seen on the Rebbe's face, no grimace of effort. And only after everybody left, then the Rebbe got up and we saw that the table, the leg had broken. And then he adds, the first Seder after the Istalkus Tafshin Yud, and likewise in the years that followed, till 1970, till the passing of the Frierdiker Rebbe's, the Rebbetzin, the Rebbe would continue to sit in his place as he did when the Frierdiker Rebbe was here, and with the same bittul. This describes during the Seder, before he did something, have to listen to the end here, the Rebbe would cast a glance to the place where the Frierdiker Rebbe used to sit, as if he's asking permission. And then he says, but when it came, however, to the Dalet Kaises and eating the matzah, he ate and drank it ba'seva, leaning, which you don't do in the presence of your Rebbe. And he didn't do when the Frierdiker Rebbe was alive. Somebody asked the Rebbe that. So the Rebbe says, halacha. And Torah Liber Shamayim hi, and the halacha is that not in the presence of your Rebbe V'gashmius, you lean. So he had in brackets here. There's the Tolner Rebbe in Yisrael. I forgot what his name is. He's a young fella and he's a very popular speaker, very close to Lubavitch. Speaks. Haven't seen him around lately, mind you. Speaks at many events. There's also big Mekurev of the Pnei Menachem. He wrote WikiLeaks. You know what they called it. He wrote all the things that Pnei Menachem told him privately. Very sharp things about other Gedolei Yisrael. Anyway, he's a book in the Kotesichas, and it's unashamed, unabashed chassid of the Rebbe, our Rebbe. So he brings his commentary about the Rebbe's conduct. He says, only a Rebbe can do this. Only a Rebbe truly is a fusion of these two manifested truths. For people like us, it's a contradiction. If you believe that the Rebbe is here, so then you don't sit by sefer, you don't lean. And if you don't, then you lean. But for the Rebbe, there's not a contradiction, and both are absolutely true, that the Rebbe's presence, the Ruchni, is after the Istalkus, even more so much so that he gets, as it were, permission. And at the same time, the Halacha, the Istalkus, and the Haseva. This is Ian Atzmi. And this is, he says, a typical or expression of the Rebbe. Okay, friends, have a wonderful day.